Hello and welcome. My name is Leah, and this is a new series of videos that are going to be all about books. If you're coming over from my knitting videos, welcome back. Thank you for checking out the new series. And if you're a completely new viewer, welcome. My name is Leah, and I live in Paris, in France. And I am a crafter and a reader, and I just thought I would start a new series because I love to read and I love to talk about the books I'm reading. So I thought I could try a new video format. For this very first video, I'm going to show you my September book haul. So those are the books that I got during the last 3 weeks. In this time, I went to London for a quick trip, so I got a few books there. And I also got a couple in my regular bookstores in Paris. I read both hard copies and on my Kindle, so I will show you both of these. And for this first video, I have 10 new books to show you. So let's get on with it. The first book I got this month is Etta and Otto and Russell and James by Emma Hooper. This gorgeous book is it's a love story between Etta and Otto and Russell. Spoiler, James isn't really a person. You'll see what I mean if you read. It's set in Canada during the Great Depression and the 50-60 years that follow. And it's a story about love and family and loss. And it's also the story of a journey, Etta's journey, as well as Otto's and Russell through life. And when I say it's about loss, it's about losing people, but also losing oneself. I would say it's a main theme of the book. I've already read it, so I don't want to give too much, but it's a beautiful book, and I will say that I got it mostly for the cover first. I was about to leave for London, and I was looking for a book to read on the journey. And I had seen this one a couple times in my bookstore, and I just couldn't resist it anymore. I love the Scandinavian vibe of the cover, and yeah, that's the first book I got this month. The second book I got this month is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I've been really into dystopian novels lately, and so I thought I would check out the classic ones first. And this one I found in a bookstore, in a used bookstore in London, and I was very much looking for this one, so I was super happy to find it. And like I said, it's a dystopian novel about a guy called Guy, and his job is to burn books because books have been forbidden. So I guess that's a big classic. I'm really trying to focus on classics. And when I say classics, I mean like American English classics this year, because being French, I grew up reading mostly French classics. So really trying to read both this year, and I think this is one of them. So Fahrenheit 451. The second book I got in London is also a dystopian novel, but a more recent one, and it is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I have heard a lot about this book in the last few months on the few blogs I've been reading and the few videos, book videos I've been following, and I really wanted to check this one out. It's also a dystopian novel, like I said, and that's pretty much all I know about it, because I love to go sort of blind in a book so that I can get surprised, and I think it's the best way to read a book, not knowing anything about it. So you can let it do its magic. And I think the cover is pretty sweet. So that's Station 11, and I'm excited to read this one. Next is a book I got in another bookstore, used bookstore near Camden Market in London, and it's a book I have been meaning to read for a while. It's The Dirty Life, a memoir of farming, food, and love by Christine Kimball. For those of you who know me, I am pretty obsessed about homesteading and growing your own food and just mostly living an independent life. So this is a book I've heard a lot of good things about, and I really wanted to read it. I love memoirs, and I'm hoping this is going to be a great one. I can't wait to read it. I also think that the title is pretty awesome, The Dirty Life. And finally, the last book I got in London during my trip was Nuts from a Small Island by Bill Bryson. I have already read A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, and I just love his writing. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea because he can be a bit arrogant and full of himself, and he has a very dark humor, I guess, full of sarcasm, which I'm honestly super into. So this one's the one I really wanted to read, and I was glad to find it in London. If you don't know Bill Bryson, he has a lot of books, like maybe 10 or so, that are mostly all about nature and the walks he's been taking and stuff like that. And they are set all over the world. Like, for instance, the first one I read, A Walk in the Wood, was set in the US while he was walking the Appalachian Trail, so that's on the East Coast. And this one is set in the UK. That's a small island. And I'm excited to start it. And I've heard he has a new novel coming out, which is sort of a follow-up to this one, which is this one right here. I think it's called Further North from a Small Island or something like that. But first I'm going to read this one, and I can't wait. Alright, now we're moving on to the books I got for my Kindle this month. And the first one I got is Magician Lands by Lev Grossman. This is book 3 of the Magician series by Lev Grossman, and if you've never heard of it, it's basically Narnia meets Harry Potter but for adults. And I love this series, and I am super excited to finally read the third and last book. And that's pretty much all I had to say about it. But if you're into fantasy, I definitely recommend that you check out this one because it's pretty awesome. So that's the first book I got on my Kindle. Second is Mr. Peninbra's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I have been meaning to get this book for a while. I love books that are about books. That's pretty much it. And I've heard a lot of great things about this one. I don't know much about the story. Mostly I'm expecting an old man and his books. But we'll see. I'm ready to be surprised and let the magic do its thing. So that's the second book I got on my Kindle. Next is 1984 by George Orwell. Like I said, I'm trying to catch up on the classics and the dystopian novels, so obviously 1984 was a prerequisite stop. I've actually already read it last week, and I've got lots to say about it, but that's not for today. So in case you've somehow never heard of it, 1984 is like the classic of dystopian novels, and it's about dystopian society where that's ruled by a guy that might not be a guy, that's called Big Brother. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. You probably have read or at least know what it's all about, and I will say a lot more about it when I do my review with video a couple of weeks from now. So that's 1984 by George Orwell. The first books I got this month is The Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, and I know pretty much nothing about these books other than I've been hearing for maybe the last 10 years, ever since I've been really into reading in English, a lot about this book, and people are referencing it and quoting it, so I just thought I would need to check it out at some point, and I found it this month, so I'm excited to read this one and see what it's all about. So that's the Hitchhiker Guides to the Galaxy. And last but not least is Tiny Beautiful Things, Advice on Life and Love from Dear Sugar, and that's by Cheryl Strait. I am a huge Cheryl Strait fan. I love her as a woman, as a writer. Wild is one of my favorite books, for sure. And I've heard about Dear Sugar, which is that's Cheryl. It's a radio show where basically she gets questions from people and she answers them like an advice column. And this book was published a few years ago, I think, and it's some of those letters and Cheryl's answer, and it's about basically everything. I mean, the very common question like family and love and money and sex and anything, any question you've maybe once thought about is probably in this book. Like I said, I'm a huge Cheryl fan. I love her style of writing and how honest and kind of raw words are. She has a new book coming out at the end of the year. I think it's called Brave Enough, and which I think is the main theme from and the main lesson I got from Wild and from most of her talks. It's that you are brave enough to do whatever it is that you want to do. And this book is going to be mostly quotes, I think, from past books of hers and talks she's given and articles she's written and stuff like that. And I will most definitely get a copy as soon as it's released. So very excited to finish this one and then to start the new one. So that was all the books I got this month. Some I've already read, some I'm super excited to start reading. I will record a new video in about 2 weeks. That's going to be a review of the books I've read this month. Until then, happy reading, obviously, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm Alinor89 there. I'm also on Goodreads as and I will give you a link because I can't remember what's my username there. There will be a link in the down bar in the YouTube of the YouTube video. And I have a blog that's freezeframe.blogspot.com. I post monthly or bi-monthly review of the books I read there, and now I will be recording the videos as well because I think the two formats works pretty well together. So I will see you in a couple of weeks. Until then, happy reading and enjoy. Bye.